Hi, everyone. Can they hear me? Hello, it's Vijay here, 21D, and I'm joined by Gordon. And
Hi, everybody.
I've got a bunch of people back there who are all staring at me. And thanks for joining us. And feel free to ask any questions you like. And that one, okay. Okay, you got a point, because I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking. That one, right, okay. You know, all this is new to me, right? By the way, can I just say, Eugene and his team have done a fabulous job of setting this up. This used to be my boardroom. I really don't recognize it at all. So how can I help? Anyone have any questions? Please feel free to ask. And if you see me looking down at my phone, by the way, I'm actually still working, because your photos from the photos group, you know, inquiries coming in, I'm on duty tonight. so I'm answering people who are reaching out to us. So you'll have to excuse me if I occasionally stare at the phone. You did that. Aren't you glad I answered?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from anyone? Or shall I just talk about one or two of the questions that we've already had? So here's an interesting question that I was passed. So somebody says, hi, I'm due for surgery on the 24th of July and so excited. Great. It looks like I will be going straight to LTPs. Can I ask, when the gums shrink, are the LTPs tightened, or is the gap smaller to begin with, and do I still have data capture? Good question. The big thing that needs to be understood is why we're going straight to LTP and the overall effect that it has compared to what we could do before. The main reason is because technology allows me to do so. So when I was taught all of this 26 years ago, one of the cornerstone principles was to get the patient into rigid splinting as quickly as possible. What rigid splinting means is connecting all the implants together with something that is as rigid as you can possibly get, and definitely more rigid or the same rigidity as the implants. That's always been difficult in the past, simply because you'd have to have the bar ready before surgery. And for 26 years, I've dreamed about it, and technology's never allowed me to do it. But now I can. That's why we are doing it. That's why I've done it for my friend Gordon over there. And you're okay with it, aren't you, Gordon?
Yes, I'm good.
You sure now? You're not just saying it because I'm here, are you?
No.
Right? You haven't got great big gaps where, you know, half your dinner from 3 days ago is parked or anything like that. No, you're sure? You don't have to lie on my behalf, you know. You can tell them all the truth.
Everything is perfect.
Everything's perfect. Yeah. Okay. Interestingly, here's a question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Before I treated you, I saw all your data. You had huge gaps between your teeth.
Yeah.
Compared to the amount of food you were getting stuck then to what you're getting stuck now, can you contextualize it for us? Because I've never had this treatment. I've done it to loads of people, but I've never had it myself. So context?
Yeah. I had dentures before. And
how much rubbish used to get stuck with them?
Yeah, loads of food and everything. So I had dentures for 5 years, and obviously after any meal, I would just lock myself in a bathroom and clean dentures and everything.
Okay. Were you always shocked with how much rubbish was underneath there?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But now it's I don't have anything.
Well, the interesting point on that one, just with dentures, is the surface area. Because the way a denture works is it not only covers the actual ridge itself, but it goes up and over the sides.
Yeah.
So the surface area is huge. So as the surface area increases and you retain more food, you get even more inflammation, and you have an even higher need to clean it out, which is why there was that routine for you. And just to roughly how long, I hope you don't mind talking about it, but how long would you spend in the bathroom cleaning all this? So you were happy to, but then I assume you also rinsed your mouth, right, as well, because there was a load in there as well.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And so, how much was still getting stuck between the teeth you had left?
Yeah. You know, I used to floss and all. You know, I used to go through the whole process of cleaning, and there was food, you know, under my dentures, between teeth, and all sorts of it. So I would clean that, and it takes like 4 or 5 minutes to do that.
Okay.
Every time after the meal.
Okay. So I'm going to put this into context, and I'm going to share something about my dental health. I have no fillings. I have all my teeth. I've never needed dental treatment. I've had checkups. I've had scales and polishes. But physiologically, at 55, it is normal that my gums shrink over time. That's very normal. It's the same reason my crow's feet are bigger than they used to be, and everything's beginning to sag a little bit. It's normal, okay? Which means I have to, when I eat, at least rinse my mouth. And twice a day, I find myself using interproximal brushes. I didn't 15 years ago because I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere near as much stuck. But the cleaning hasn't stopped the gentle recession over time. This is called physiological remodeling, and it's just a fact of life. Okay? Sorry?
No questions.
Question. Fire away.
Ready? Cool. How do you decide if direct to LTP is possible?
How we decide if direct to LTP is possible is actually based on the calculations of what we see in the bone when we take the CT scan. So the highest diagnostic valve scan we take is the CT scan itself. The CT scan has data like bone distribution. So we're looking for 4 healthy sites per jaw. And even more interestingly, but, I need to be very careful what I say to people because, they will go off on one. In the lower jaw in particular, especially with the ability to introduce an LTP in the middle, 3. And I need that spaced out in a space of at least 40 millimeters. So I'm measuring, have I got 40 millimeters worth of bone in a curve? I'm measuring, have I got at least 8 millimeters of height and 4 millimeters of width? Because that's all I really need. I'm also, the most important thing I'm looking at is how much disease there is at the start. And even though we clean it out, you have to remember that bone is porous. So it will have permeated a little bit inside. So the importance of being able to splint those implants together rigidly with the same titanium that we use for the implants is good because nothing can move. And the importance of that nothing can move at all thing is the same reason you put a cast on a fractured arm.
Yeah.
You want that complete level of immobility. But because we've got this rigid splint in place, we expect healing to be better, as you discovered yesterday, correct?
Yeah.
My expectation is definitely 50 to 60% of patients. My personal prediction is 95%. Because as the technology is already here to be able to do this. And the one thing I know about technology, having been using medical technology for 26 years now, is it just gets faster and better exponentially. The reason it's in is so we can help more people, and the outcomes, we know this, are clinically better. The reason that almost nowhere else does it, well, there's nowhere else that does it that I've heard of, is I don't know whether they have the tech. I don't know whether they've invested in it. We've got about just under £5 million worth of technology in this company. I make no excuses for it because I only want the best for my patients, and I can do things that other people can't do. It doesn't mean we're cutting corners. It actually means the opposite. We can do better stuff. And that's what we're doing. We've seen absolutely no downsides and a hell of a lot of upsides of going straight to LTP for the patient. One of them, and I'm asking you this, Gordon, the problem is each patient only has their own benchmark of how they healed. But I've got data from all the patients healing. One of the things I'm seeing is that it is less post-operative problems for patients who go straight to LTP. Even things like the amount, they all swell, everybody swells, but the amount that people are swelling with rigid fixation from the beginning is less. I know you're all going to ask me why. I actually don't know.
Another question. What if I've got significant bone loss?
Again, I've heard this my whole career. All I'm looking for is 4 millimeters in width and 8 millimeters in height, distributed over 40 millimeters. That's it. So significant bone loss is a very significant term, subjective term. I need to hear exact numbers. So I've heard this my whole career. Oh, I went to see someone and they've told me I've got very little bone left. Okay, how much? What were you told before you came to see me?
I just wanted to add to that what you just said now. I've been told that probably I won't be able to have any implants. Or...
It's a miracle then.
Yeah, but here I am now. I've just done my surgery 2 months ago, and everything is perfect. So
you broke my rules, though, didn't you, Gordon?
Yeah.
I told you to stick to a fork diet, and you went out and had what after 10 days?
Well, I had after about 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, I had normal food. I was
Do not do what Gordon did.
Yeah.
Okay. Please, pretty please with sugar on it. Can you all, pretty please, you can eat it if you can cut it with a fork. For 4 weeks. Just please, pretty please. Gordon's a naughty boy, but thanks for being honest.
Yeah.
So what couldn't you wait 4 weeks for that you just had to do at 10 days, Gordon? I'm curious now.
Well, I started with all like soups and everything, but then later I felt really good after 2 weeks. So I was starting to eat Sunday roast, meat, or whatever. After
so basically,
3 weeks,
you lied to me at the assessment, and you said you'd stick to a fork. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, so that's how it is now.
Yeah,
Okay, fine.
I even had a. I think it was 4 weeks when I had a steak.
The thing I told you not to do for 8 weeks.
After 4 weeks, I felt.
Was it a good steak?
I felt very, very soft though.
Okay, but was it a good steak?
Yeah.
I'm really jealous. Okay. This is the other thing you all need to know, right? It's not a hypothesis. It's an extension of knowledge that's been out there, which has just not been possible before. So in my view, if I can reduce the number of visits and interventions for patients and still get the same and if not better outcome, I'm sure we're all great to come and visit, but why would you want to come and see us 10 times if you only need to come and see us twice? Sorry, yes.
Another question we've got is, I have to use a CPAP machine to sleep. Will the constant airflow cause any issues with the healing?
It'll probably help it. Oxygen is good. Oxygen is very good for all human healing.
Another question for you. What happens when the gum shrinks after healing? And also, what if the color isn't right, as they can be changed at DC before LTP?
Okay. So I asked Isabella, who operated on you, to do something, not really for my benefit, because I already knew what she'd find, but actually for hers, yours, and all of you. Scott, can you bring that photo up? So Scott's going to, if you don't mind, Gordon, I've actually got, the photo that Isabella showed you on the big screen of your gum healing. I'm going to put that up on the screen just so you can all see this. What is miraculous about that is the quality of the healing and the thing that I look for. How well is your body taking care of everything? Not you. How well is your body taking care of it? It's incredible. What we saw on that photo, and Isabella couldn't wait to ring me and tell me, and I was expecting her to ring me and tell me exactly that, because we don't need to take the LTP off to have a look, right? I definitely don't need to, and actually you shouldn't, and I'll explain why you shouldn't. So I engineered the underside of your prosthesis with a perfectly convex fitting surface, and I designed the emergence profile to something that I know that your body will really like. So if you go and look at the literature, if you go and read extensively, you can either make it go to the gum or you can make the gum come to you. This is actually possible. So I engineered yours in a way where I made the gum come exactly to where I want it to come to create the optimal environment for your saliva, which is the only cleaning agent I'm interested in. Yes, we can go on about your water irrigator, but all it's doing is removing bulk food debris. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is bacteria, okay, which you can never see. You've never seen bacteria in your mouth, and you never will. And the reason that the entire oral environment is covered with millions of tiny salivary glands, every square millimeter of it, is because every square millimeter of it will have bacteria on it, and the body is producing antibody-rich saliva to permanently fight that. So if you can all see the image on the screen, I can tell you that to see that quality of healing for that level of tissue maturity is normally a year. That is at 7 weeks. You are at a year's worth of tissue maturity in 7 weeks. Now you have to understand, I am new to the technology, but the science itself has been written about years and years ago. The reason I'm new to the technology is you never had the ability to have a guide so accurate that you could machine metal to fit exactly to those heads that perfectly straight after surgery. The reason we used to do it with PMMA before is I needed the slight flexibility of the PMMA to compensate for any discrepancy because I didn't have the processing power and the engineering capability I have today to do it with metal. But I do have it with metal. But has it always been the dream to be able to do it? Yes. There are so many reasons why. One of them is the number of interventions for a patient. I know a lot of you have had post-surgery data capture. You have to understand that every time you take something off, your gum shrinks, and then we have to screw something back on, which pushes or pinches the gum. Some of you will have experienced that. This is reality. There is a way around it. I can inject you all. I can numb you all. I know how much you all hate injections in the mouth. Am I right?
Yep.
This eliminates the need for that. And actually, we're getting better tissue outcomes. So we don't need to worry about this so-called shrinkage because we're engineering it so the tissue comes to the bar at the optimal size as it's healing through the healing process.
I suffer with TMJ. I'm worried about having my jaw open for 3+ hours. Do you deal with many TMJ sufferers?
TMJ sufferers are at different degrees. One of the biggest reasons for TMJ suffering is either a deflection of the jaw. One of the reasons for that is if you've lost a lot of teeth on one side, you tend to use the other side more, so the jaw starts deflecting. The other one is a collapse of the bite because you've lost teeth and the other teeth have drifted. So I'd say 95% of the people we treat have TMJ dysfunction. A few of them are aware of it because it's, you know, extreme TMJ where they're getting a clicking or pain or whatever. I just don't know the extent of it. What do I know? In all my years of doing this, have I ever made anyone's TMJ dysfunction worse? No. And as for keeping it open for 3 hours, 2 hours, no, I've never made it worse. But I don't know the extent of it. So one of the things I'd like to know, whoever wrote that question, is when you overextend, has it ever locked in place? Because if you can close it again after having it open, then it's nowhere near as severe. Because there are some people who, if they yawn, the jaw locks and they can't close it. You literally have to. It's a bit like knocking an elbow back into place. You literally have to manipulate it. It's scary when it happens. It's not dangerous. It's just, imagine your mouth locking open. That's an extreme of TMJ dysfunction. What we are trying to do is to re-establish the correct vertical dimensions so the TMJ functions better. We're not trying to make it function worse. We're actually trying to make it function better. So I can answer the question if you tell me if your TMJ has ever locked, because if it has locked, then you should have it done in a very staged approach, step by step by step, shorter and shorter and shorter appointments.
I have low blood pressure. How does that affect?
Low blood pressure, high blood pressure, all of these things have a systemic effect on healing. So any of you who have been to see us for FCA, you know that we take blood pressure routinely. You also know we tell you that if it's too high, which is far more common than too low, get it under control or we're not operating. Because these are the rules of surgery. Your safety comes first, and your blood pressure affects healing in the mouth like it would affect any other surgery. We're not changing it because you're having some teeth done. We're not doing that. This is still surgery. So low blood pressure, my advice would be to speak to your GP, identify why there is low blood pressure. And again, the other thing I'd like are some numbers. Diastolic and systolic numbers would really help. There's low and there's very low. Very low, absolutely no. Low, if it's within range, it shouldn't be a problem. The other question to ask yourself as well on that front, you can have naturally low blood pressure. Then you take into considerations other things. How's my health? The easiest way to know whether you can actually have this done and be okay, if you've had a tooth out and it healed fine, you'll probably be fine having this done. The healing. If it was fine, if it was uneventful, if it didn't go on for 8 weeks and it just sort of covered itself up in like 10 days, you'll probably be okay with it.
What are the reasons that some people aren't suitable?
Oh, interesting question. I was actually going to make a video on this, but I've been distracted doing other things. One of the biggest reasons, and I hate to be very blunt about this, is psychological expectations. So we have people who think we're sitting here growing new teeth. No, we're not. We can't just do anything. So if they have their expectations over here and we discover that what we can deliver is over here, and they're not prepared to make that move, we're not starting that relationship. We're just not. Okay, I'm going to be very blunt about this. That is probably the expectation thing. People think that it's all about white teeth. Let me clear this up once and for all. I'll tell you the parameters that I and all my team look for. I have 127 people that work in this company. We are a clinical business. Number one, elimination of disease. Number two, stabilization of function. If you can't eat 3 meals a day, I don't care what it looks like, and neither should you. And number three, predictable performance long term. So it's in my interests that if you're going to spend £16,995, just like you would on a car, you shouldn't care what it looks like as much as it doesn't break down. Correct? Okay. People talking to me about just what it looks like and I want this, compromise that. We're just not doing it. This is key. The other reason is there are people who are not emotionally ready to make the journey. They're just not, they need it, but they're not emotionally ready to make the journey. And they say things to me like, can you just knock me out? Well, not legally, no.
Why does it take a long time to get an assessment at Bristol and not other locations, please?
Okay, good question. Well, you could say it's my fault or it's not my fault. It's taken me absolutely months to negotiate the lease and get through the building regs. But here's the good news. We have now, and it's going to be announced shortly, we've now got 3 clinicians ready to deploy into Bristol. It is now a 4-chair clinic. It's 3,800 square feet. We've used all of it. And you have to understand, we are growing really based on the demand coming in from patients. Bristol has exploded. Even we got our calculations wrong as to how many people we thought were coming to. We thought, honestly, I thought Bristol would be a quiet clinic, which would have a steady flow of patients. Yeah, I'm an idiot who can't read a map. It's the whole of South Wales, it's the whole of the Southwest, and everything around Bristol that are coming to us. So don't worry. We've now got 4 chairs, and the access is going to increase and improve, okay? You'll have to excuse me. I can only move so quickly.
On the locations topic, someone's asked why there are no clinics up in Scotland.
Okay, the Scottish debate. I really want them. I really do. But I won't change the criteria. It's got to be on a business park. It's got to be easily accessible. The regulations in Scotland are different to the regulations in England. For some reason, they want to stick their oar in on, does it fit our criteria exactly compared to down in the UK? I know they'll flatly deny it. They're lying, because I've been trying for 2 years. I can't find the kind of sites that a 21D site should be in anywhere near as common. I've been offered the opportunity to just buy clinics. I was offered one recently in Glasgow. None of you will be able to find parking there, trust me. And I'm not going to put it in a place where you have to climb 3 mountains to get to. I'm just not going to do it. But I haven't forgotten about Scottish patients, and it's in our plans. Everything needs to be right. It has to be 21D standard clinic. Otherwise, I'm not just going to rush it and just open one. I'm just not going to do it. I know the demand. I understand all your frustrations, right? But I have put them now in Carlisle, and I put another one in Darlington, which should be finished soon. One is on the East Coast main line. One is on the West Coast main line. But I do want one in Scotland. Don't think I'm not wanting one in Scotland. It's just not easy opening clinics in Scotland for us. Maybe we're unlucky. I don't know.
Someone's asked, what if an implant fails?
What if an implant fails? Good question. Especially if you're an LTP, almost nothing till we switch it. Okay, that's the great thing about going straight to LTP. Let me contextualize implant failure. These are the numbers that I was passed by some people inside, and I can only talk for us. I can't talk for the general industry. I know some people get their knickers in a twist about this. I can only talk for us. Last year, we did 1,400 jaws. I think Isabella's feedback to me was we had 11. So 1,400 jaws is 1,400 times, on average, let's just call it 5. Okay, so you're talking about deploying, 5,000 implants? 7,000 implants, yeah? Across 1,400 jaws. 11 in a whole year. And of those 11, there were 2 main reasons. Main reason number 1 was that the patient's general health was compromised. We should have just rejected them, but had we rejected them, they wouldn't have 3 that were fine. And they are now in a fixed state. So I have no regrets about that. I'm not going to reject people on relative contraindications in healthcare because they still need the same chance that everybody else does. And what would you rather do, try or not try? And for me, there's only one kind of implant failure. You lose all your implants. Never in 21D's history has someone lost all their implants. And in all my time, when I was at Evo, 2. One of them had aggressive cancer and had to have intense radiotherapy, which killed everything in sight. There's nothing I can do. And the other one, for her own personal reasons, because of the loss of her mother, became a rampant alcoholic and had liver failure and all her body systems shut down. But other than that, that's all I consider as catastrophic failure. Losing an implant is incredibly rare. Incredibly rare. I think if you guys do your homework and Google the number of papers out there and talking about implant loss, it's either early implant loss in the phase of treatment, and you usually know within 4 weeks, or it's late implant loss, which is even rarer, which is after osseointegration. And the number 1 factor for late implant and early implant loss is host health. And what we don't do here is we don't reject people because they're on polypharmacy, because they're 65 years old, because they're not at optimal health. Because that would be the wrong thing to do. We treat older people who are on drugs for all kinds of other conditions. We don't treat 25-year-old triathletes who've got nothing wrong with them. It just comes with the turf.
It's got another question here. Another location question. When Guilford is opening?
So what we are doing at the minute is one thing I'm very particular about, and I think you all don't understand how difficult it is to find the right kind of clinicians. There are 42,000 dentists in Britain. But I want the most dedicated ones who offer full arches. I find the right kind of clinicians, we train the right kind of clinicians, we deploy the right kind of clinicians. We had a big hoo-ha about this a few months ago because one of our clinicians got very sick. You understand? And you realize the hole that just won. I've just been recruiting over the last few months. I've added another, I think, 14 clinicians to the network, but I won't put them there until they're ready. So my guess is that you should have access to Guilford by July at the latest. The clinic's built, it's already there. But I won't put the wrong people in there under any circumstance. They have to be up to speed and right and know what to do.
Someone's asked, I have some very light staining. Is there anything I can do, or do I wait for my annual checkup?
Wait for your annual checkup, but here's a tip for everybody in LTPs, or even if you have your own teeth, works for me. So I'm a huge black tea fan. Love it. And I won't stop. And I used to get horrific stains, but I learned a little trick, really easy trick. The straight after I put the staining agent in my mouth, sip water. Don't even rinse, just sip water. Rehydrate your mouth because tannins, anything like tea, red wine, whatever, they will stain because they also dry your mouth. Rehydrate it and it will reduce it. So what I'd really like is not the light staining. I'd like to know what caused it. If you tell me that, I'll tell you what to do exactly. But by the way, don't use whitening toothpastes. Do not, under any circumstances, use any abrasive toothpaste. You'll just make it much worse because you're going to scratch polished surfaces and you're never going to unscratch them once you've done that.
Someone's actually just put, very confused about what toothpaste to use after LTPs.
Baby toothpaste. All baby toothpaste. So go and buy toothpaste that babies use because they are not abrasive. So I keep hearing people going, can I use aloe vera this? No, just go use baby toothpastes. Okay? You guys using toothpaste, you do not need fluoride, ever. Right? Minty fresh, if you want minty fresh breath, have a mint. Okay? Don't use abrasives. Don't use anything that's designed for teeth. Use something that has least abrasion of all and the least abrasive baby toothpaste or any tooth gel that if you squeeze it between your fingers and you rub it, you mustn't feel any grit. Use that. I mean, let's all be open with each other. You don't have teeth. These are prosthetics. Prosthetics need polishing. Don't polish with sandpaper. That's a bad idea. Okay? Teeth are different. Teeth are enamel, dentine, cementum, all kinds of stuff. And they spend fortunes on those TV adverts, those people. You don't have what that's designed for. You have prosthetics. Do not use abrasives on these materials. So anything you rub between your fingers, if it's not gritty, use it. I don't care.
Someone has asked, can a person request that you do the surgery?
Me?
Yes.
Okay. So I used to, right? And I stopped in 2018 for a simple reason. I realized something. I have a one mandate. There are 2.5 million people just in England who have no teeth. And there's another 5 million potentially, or a few million at least. It's very difficult to get the exact data, but the 2.5 million, I think, is quoted by the Adult Dental Health Survey, which is produced by the Office for National Statistics. Just these hands alone can't fix 2.5 million people. But I can treatment plan or assist in treatment planning 50 people a day. That's where I decided to put my thing. And I have to tell you something, this lot all know this. You've been in. How strict am I with my clinicians? Do they just follow it exactly from what you've seen?
Yeah.
Trust me, you're in the best hands ever.
Yeah.
Just tell yourself this. If they're still there and I haven't killed them, they're great. Okay. Just use that one as a benchmark, okay? I don't operate anymore because that's not the best use of my time. I'm there helping out in triaging patients to help them understand whether what we do is actually for them. And I also am very interactive in treatment planning all your cases and helping with the clinical designs of everything you get. That is actually where I'm most... for me, I get to help much more people that way, and that's what I'm interested in.
Someone's asked, can a large overbite be treated?
Yes. A large overbite can become a smaller overbite. It can never become no overbite. Yeah. And again, large A number would be useful. So for me, a large overbite would be 15 millimeters. I've seen about 10 of those my whole life. 5 millimeters is not a large overbite. Usually, you can reduce overbites safely if it's not pathological, if it's just anatomical, if it's just how you were born. You could reduce that by 20%, no more.
Sorry, just getting lots of compliments about Jason Fan and
Jason.
Mariana.
Jason, okay. Jason is a great clinician. Jason is one of the most caring clinicians I've ever met in my life, and I'm not just saying that because he's here. I'm lucky to have him. He is very methodical in how he deals with people. Mariana is just a super kind soul. She is all care. She just wants to help people. I love that about her. These guys are just great. And they're all different, you know.
Another question is, I've had a previous implant. Would this be reused?
If it's in my way, I'll take it out. Okay, so let's talk about that one, right? So we are getting a lot of inquiries from people who have either had full mouth implants done here, full mouth implants done abroad. Can you do this on top of what's already been done? I can answer that question, absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. I've been doing this long enough to know that the parameters that are needed, height, width, the correct placement, the correct levels of bone, is not what's mainly done. What's mainly done is let's stick some screws in and then let's work out what to do. And then you have to ask yourself a question. Why are you asking us to do it again? Because it's not working. So why would I use the same platform? If it didn't work with that platform, why would I use the same platform? If the foundation's dodgy, the whole lot's going to be dodgy. That's number one. Number two, the digital workflow that we use, the reason we use it is not to be fancy. It's because it's much more predictable than using the techniques that other people use. Now, I'm not blaming what other people do. For me, I want my patients to have the thing that is the most modern because it will be the most future-facing. Does that make sense? So if I'm using what I know is what people are going to be using in future, I know the serviceability in future is going to follow this, if you know what I mean. So I can't just work on other people's work. Sometimes, and I can contextualize this, 10% of the cases I can remove the old implants, reset a new platform, and where they haven't already removed bone, because remember, they have to remove bone to put the implants in, I might be able to find enough to work around. But it's only 10%. The other 90%, this is, in my view, what has to happen. Those have to be removed. They have to be grafted. You have to cross your fingers and pray that everything's going to heal predictably. When there's new bone back where the old implants were, try again. I don't underestimate the amount of planning that goes into making sure something works for 2 or 3 decades. We refuse to do it any other way because there's no mileage in it. Do it properly. Make it last as long as possible. Everyone's happy. So we can't do that. We can't work on other people's work.
Someone's asked, how's your wee mum? I just love the video you did with her.
Sorry, what's the second part?
I just loved the video you did with her.
Thank you. My mum is living testament to me of how good this technology works. I've talked to you guys before about this. I didn't even know. I was 12 years old when she lost her teeth. My mum was always full of energy. And then I just remember I was 12. I was the eldest of the 3 of us, so I noticed it the most. Her energy just vanished. I didn't know she was wearing dentures. She just wouldn't look me in the eye anymore. She was always like tilted forward. And then, my dear dad, God rest his soul, He scoured the planet, found someone to put her back together again with this thing. And then she came home one day, I was 15, and it was my mum again, just like that. And as I said in the video, she's diabetic. She's now 84. But she's fine here. She eats great. She's still frail, diabetic, 2 fake hips. She's great. But that's how I know how long this stuff can last. Because she is, for me, patient 1.
So a couple of people have put in here that they missed the first part of the video. So they've missed about LTP and going straight to LTP, and would like to hear about Gordon's experience.
Going straight to LTP has, for me, far more advantages than disadvantages. And the reason I'm putting it out there now is because I've got the technology that allows me to do it now. It just didn't exist. Have I always dreamt about doing it? For 26 years. I just couldn't do it. I was dreaming about an iPhone in the 80s. It didn't exist. I had to wait for somebody like Steve Jobs to come up with it, right? But it's the fact that we can do this. And the major advantages for me, from a simplistic patient point of view, it's a question I ask all patients. How many times do you want to sit in that chair? Once. Okay. And we are now in a position to be able to sort it all for you in one go. We're able to do it. Let me tell you what I think is why you don't see it anywhere else. Who's got the technology? I mean, maybe they have, maybe it's a big kept secret, maybe they're not sharing it. I can't speak for any other providers. I can only talk to you about why we do it. We've invested in the technology. We know why it's important. We invested in it because we know it's good for patients. It is, if I went to every person on earth and said, if you could take your patient straight to LTP and it would all work magically, who'd actually say, nope, I want to put them through 20 unnecessary visits? None of them. But we've got the tech to do it. And there are so many patient benefits. Comfort, fuller function, far more stable. In my view, faster healing, in my view, because of this introduction. Who doesn't want faster healing? I want you all to heal faster. I don't want you to heal slower. And even if I improve that by 10% or 20%, it's still better.
When do you find, are you told at assessment that you're going straight to LTP?
Yes. 95% of the time. Sometimes we put people into planning because of the sheer complexity. It's even I can't do it. You know, I've been doing this for a very long time. Sometimes, just to be sure, I just want to take it back. I mean, most of them are slam dunks. I just stare at it and go, yeah. But sometimes, and we actually want to be right for you. Do you want us to rush or do you want us to be right? I know you all hate the waiting, which I find a little bit like, okay, you've been like that for 10 years. I'm asking you to give me 4 days just so I can run the calculations. Just, okay. And I'm actually doing it so that I can give you something that I believe is the optimal balance of compromises for you. I haven't seen every case that's ever been there because every single one of you is different. You're all coming in with a list of drugs that long. You're all coming in with all kinds of configurations in your mouth. 9 times out of 10, no, more than that, 95 times out of 100, I can tell you then and there. 5 times out of 100, still, just because we're fussy. We just want it to be right. We just put you into planning.
One for Gordon. Do you get any food trapped under your LTPs?
No, not really.
Nothing you're bothered about.
Yeah, nothing that I need to. But what I do, I just, just clean my mouth with the water, and that's all what I do at the moment. But nothing gets trapped anywhere now.
Can I just say this on that very point, right? I can tell you this, having done this day in, day out and seen thousands of patients through this process. You know the mouthwash I want you all to use? Water. But I know that when I say that, you go, oh, you don't want me to use, this expensive stuff in a bottle? No. I want you to use water. I want you to create a negative pressure in your mouth and just rinse, as you've done your whole life. Evolution has structured you to do it that way. You know that Blue M mouthwash didn't exist at the dawn of time.
No.
You know, it's an invention, right?
Yeah.
In my view, water's free, vigorous rinsing, enough. You don't want any food debris in your mouth. Trust me, your mouth is cleaner than the average person with all their teeth. How do I know? Let me tell you. A healthy mouth has 16 teeth and 16 interproximal gaps per jaw. That means they have 32 interproximal gaps in that mouth. Yeah. Your mouths have, on average, 4 to 5 what we call transmucosal connections, where the bar connects to the implant head. There's only 4 to 5 areas where you have a connection between the bone and your mouth, not 16 per jaw. Your mouths are cleaner than people who have their own teeth. This paranoia that suddenly they're much dirtier than they've ever... You're all right. It's just wrong. I don't know where it comes from. I just need it to stop. The logic is very simple. Your mouths are much healthier. I understand. Do I want to get any food debris out of my mouth after I have a roast on a Sunday? Yes. Am I paranoid my head's going to fall off if I don't? No. Just don't.
Can all your clinicians go straight to LTP?
Can all my clinicians? What, can they all do it? Yeah. All of them. Yeah. Okay. We have this thing in here, right? So we've got our teams that we have in place. They're all capable of doing it. But when I innovate something new and I sit with them, I say to them, look, this is why we're doing this now. So not only can they all go straight to LTP, they can also use the other platform if they need to. It's called standardization of process. There is no, he can do it, she can't do it. No. You can either follow 21D's core protocols or you're not working here. It's really simple.
I have a fear of dentists in recent years. So is your organization good at alleviating anxiety by informing?
By informing? Oh, we insist. Okay, okay. Again, we need to quantify this. Fear of dentists, I get that. I have a fear of dentists. When I'm in that chair, I am a patient. So I'll tell you something that will make you all laugh. I hate having scales and polishes done because I know it's going to give me a twinge from time to time. I know it's coming. But you know, if it suddenly hits something, I get anxious about it. That's an anxiety. But the person I go and see, I've actually got a really good relationship with. And I know they're not doing it to hurt me. And I know it's very short-lived and I know it'll go away. And what's really important is that relationship, which is why we have the FCA. You shouldn't be having it with us if you don't feel comfortable with us. It's really that simple. We work hard on that relationship because we know it's one of the most important parts of the whole process. Because we understand you're coming to see us. You know, we're strangers to begin with. You can watch the videos and everything, but really it takes time to get to know people. So I understand where you're coming from. Fear is one thing. Phobia, that is different. Real phobia is a psychological problem. And it cannot be treated with... You can't treat a phobia of spiders by introducing someone to friendly spiders. It's a psychological issue. You understand? Let's not confuse the two. And all we ask of patients is, tell us the truth. If you are phobic, this is not the environment to have this done. The phobia needs to be overcome using psychological measures, whatever it is, hypnotherapy, whatever it is, then come. We're not a hospital. We're not just going to knock people out. Can I be asleep? No, you cannot. Not in this, I'm sorry, in this country, it's been illegal for 30 years to do this outside a hospital setting. We're not breaking the law.
I've got another question here, which is what happens if the gum color or the color of the LTPs isn't right We're going straight to LTP.
What do you mean colour of the LTP isn't right? You
So-
pick the shade. So what happens, you mean, if you picked your own shade wrong?
Well,
Yeah,
I think
I'll
the
get
colour of the
annoyed.
gum is like...
So I'll go, can you make up your mind? Do you do that with cars? Do you go and say, I want the black one, drive it around and go, I actually wanted the green one? Okay, the shades are very simple, so let me simplify it for you. If you're a woman, you're not going to go far wrong with B1 and A1. If you're a man, you're not going to go far wrong with A1 and A2. There you go. And how many people on earth can tell the difference between A1 and A2? Hardly any. And I'm including dentists. Okay. It's very subtle.
I think the question here is referring to specifically the gingiva, or the gum colour.
The gum color. So the gum color is actually based on your gum color, and it's always going to be slightly off. Always. You're never, ever going to get it identical. Why? Because our artificial gum is actually painted composite, and your artificial gum is a living blood supply. It's never going to be identical. It's going to be very close. And anyway, the transition line is above your lip. My question to all of you is, why are you pulling your lip out of the way and staring at it? It's only there to support your lip. It's not there to be admired. That's the teeth's job.
Someone has asked, how did you come up with the name 21D?
21D just stands for 21st Century Dentistry. And I couldn't be bothered writing it all down, so I just went 21D. That's all it is. It's 21st. Okay, it's what I believe we should be doing for full mouth rehab in the 21st century this way.
After surgery, is there a plan for a service on the LTPs?
Yeah, annual maintenance. You're going to come back. So some patients will say come back in 8 weeks. Some patients will say come back in 10 weeks. Some patients will say to come back in 12 weeks. You're definitely getting signed off by us. You're not just disappearing after the LTP. You come back and you still have all the things we do at the LTP fit apart from the LTP fit because you've already got it. So we will be doing our clinical inspections. We will be taking our sign-off x-ray. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I wanted to bring this up. So somebody freaked out the other day, said, how many x-rays are you taking? However many I need. The radiation dose is ridiculously low. Otherwise, we wouldn't be using it. But we're not compromising on diagnostic quality. If we need x-rays for your records, because remember, you want us to track how things are going over time, please don't say, oh, I'm not having x-rays. Fine, I'm not warranting your work. It's very simple. I need my records. It's not just to warrant my work. I want to see your bone levels perfectly stable. And you want me to see that, and you want me to tell you it's perfectly stable.
Another question is, can you get another set if anything happens to them?
Like what? If you break them, yes, you're covered by your warranty. My advice, please, everybody listen to me on this one. I'm hearing some of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard before. Vijay, I broke them because I ate a Mars bar out of the freezer. Who eats Mars bars out of the freezer? I'd break my own teeth. Please don't do that. Vijay, I broke them because I was just trying to open this bottle. What? I don't do that with my own teeth. Okay, the general rule is, remember this, all of you in implants, you have no feelings in them at all. So actually, it's very easy to forget that you've not got teeth and then think you can do whatever you want. Please don't. Breakage is very, very rare. And it isn't a fault of manufacturing because it won't leave the door if it was a fault of manufacturing. But we're not blaming you either. It's just for the same reason that cars can break down sometimes or you get a flat tire. It's just a reality of mechanics. You're under warranty for 5 years. Okay, I don't know, should I even talk about it now? About the next generation of prosthetics, or will this send everybody into a spin? Okay, I've started, so I'll tell you anyway, right? So I am currently working on my next little project. Well, I say I'm currently working on it. I've been working on it for 2 years now. Again, waiting for engineering to catch up. So we are going to have the next generation of prosthetics that are going to be, in my view, fully screw assembled. What this means is I can make you an infinite number of teeth. And it's so reproducible over and over and over again. In fact, my colleagues who make the actual PMMA, we're working on some very clever stuff at the minute because we can now, because technology allows us and AI allows us to do these things. I could probably reproduce your teeth 1,000 times over, exactly the same, without all the faff and the palaver, which will make it cheaper for you. And I could even get to the point, I believe, where if you did break your teeth, you'd probably be carrying a spare set of your own, and I'd have a spare set. So if you forgot to bring it, please don't. I'd still have another one, and I'd be able to switch it in your mouth without the need to go back to Deprogrammers or anything like that, because I don't want to touch your bar, because I will consider your bar part of the implant complex in 60 seconds. I won't go anywhere near your gum, so no pinching, nothing, which is why I hate taking the bar off. Because when I take the bar off, your gum will shrink, and then if I try and put it back on, you'll be, oh, oh, oh. Whereas if I'm never working at your gum level, which I never need to, so it's something I'm working on, don't worry, I'll make a video about it and not just surprise everyone with it, but only when I know it's going to be exactly as it's designed.
So this one's actually a long one, so give me a moment to get through it. So a bit of a left field subject, but I'd like to raise a thorny question of what happens if 21D ever goes bust at some point in the future. I've worked in a business for many years and seen hugely successful businesses go bust due to like unforeseen circumstances. I would just like to know.
Seen, by the way, for the accountant. He knew they were going bust. Go on.
But he goes, no company is immune to this, and 21D is a very ethical company. I'd like to know what I'd need from you to ensure some kind of contingency if it did ever happen.
You only need 2 contingencies. Contingency number 1 is going to be, I'm going to tell you also, everybody write this down, right? The hex driver, it's a hex that connects your screw to the implant below. The hex driver is 1.25 millimeter hex. That is the most common hex driver used in implant systems globally, right? So the chances of you not finding a dentist who has a hex driver to unscrew that, even if I vanished and gone back to my own planet, are 0. Number 2, the company that currently makes the implants is called Oxy in Italy. Yeah, they've been around for 30 years. Yes, you're right, they could go pop. Doubt it. So if they've been around for 30 years, this particular implant has been out in the market now for 8 years. Very common. So look up Oxy, and the variation of Oxy is called Fixo, F-I-X-O. The next iterations that come along are going to be even simpler. There is no question of who can't service these implants. I'll tell you what I hate about my industry. What I hate about my industry is why they can't think like B&Q. Why can't they just make a Phillips head and a flat head? Every single one has a stupid variation, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this out loud because it infuriates me, and I don't know why you lot shouldn't know. It's all about money. These implant companies want a closed system, which means there isn't a standardized approach for all patients. I don't like this. We're desperately trying to change that. You've got simplified implants. You haven't got 8 different bits. Your implant is a one-piece implant on purpose. It's the easiest implant in the world to service. If you talk to a dentist and go, I haven't seen these implants before, so? I've got screws of shelves in my house that I've never seen before, but I've got a screwdriver for it. I've never seen them before. I don't know whether they're from Screwfix or from B&Q. I just know it's got a flat head or a star head. So I understand what you're saying, and you will know exactly where to find me if this company goes bust. I will be in a hut in Brazil. Okay. So, yeah, okay, our jokes aside, we understand it's a serious point. You want to protect your investment. So I'm just telling you, it's a 1.25 hex for your prosthetics. The company in Italy that supplies the implants is called Oxy. There are plenty of clinicians out there who have used the Oxy system and have got all the Oxy drivers, the chances of us all going bust at the same time are 0.
Someone wants to know, is there a cost to annual service, please?
250 quid. It's always been the same. It's the same as servicing your car. We need to take scans, we need to measure stuff, and we're doing it so your car keeps running. We insist.
Someone else has asked, I wasn't told about going straight to LTP. Will the final result be the same concerning myself?
Exactly the same. Exactly the same. So understand this. If it's possible for you to go to LTP, I want to take you to LTP in less clinical visits for you, because I know something about all of you. You're all the same as me. How many times do I want to sit in a dental chair? Never. If I have to, how many times do I have to? Once, followed closely by 2, 3, okay, 4, but not 8, and not 10, and not 15. We can work on those efficiencies because we put a hell of a lot of technology into this, so I have to do less in your mouth, and I can do more on a computer. And it's very predictable, so why wouldn't I?
Is this the main reason for rejection bone loss? Also, why are we then directed to a different company? What can they do?
Okay. So almost everybody that we send elsewhere is we're only trying to help them. So I'll give you a classic. I'll give you 2 examples. Example number 1. This patient cannot be treated because they haven't got the 4 millimeters in width and the 8 millimeters in height in the 40 millimeter spread. What they need is additional treatments like zygomatic implants. Zygomatic implants are implants that go for the top jaw from the mouth into the cheekbone. I used to do them. I won't do them because I'm very strict about people only. The only people that should do them are people who do it day in, day out. And I want to direct you to people who do it day in, day out. So that's why I send you there. The second one is ones where there is a misalignment of the lower teeth. They need the upper teeth. I know what you all want. You all want perfect, straight, white teeth. Well, if you've got a misaligned lower jaw, expecting something straight to fit against something perfectly, predictably in mechanics, is impossible. Okay? So then I say, okay, you'll probably need a zirconia-based prosthesis. Before anybody asks me, I don't care what everybody else uses. I will never use zirconia because of the experiences that my patients have had with this material. I think everybody forgets, I used zirconia in 2007, 2008. I'm not new to this. I don't like its safety profile. I don't like its reproducibility. I don't like the lie that it can't break, because everything in the universe can break. What I don't like is the fact that people don't talk about things like stress shielding. So I direct people and say, okay, you want to keep those lower teeth? There is no clinical justification to remove them. What you should do is you should go and have a brace to straighten those lower teeth out first. That's going to be 18 months of your life. If you're not prepared to do that, then I'm not prepared to address the opposing jaw and have a compromised situation. Then another compromise is go and get zirconia done, which is hard enough to take the impact of your misaligned lower teeth. So these are the reasons I send people away.
Someone's asked, is my payment protected until I have my surgery?
Is your payment?
So I think it's when they refer to they.
Oh, you mean, oh, right, okay. So if you ordered a couch and I went bust, do you still get the couch or the money back? Yes. Yes. Yes, it's protected personally by me. So you can all vilify me if I don't. I'm not going anywhere.
Why can't we make an appointment instead of taking pictures first to see if we're accepted?
Because the clinical assessment time costs 800 quid. So if I just let every single one of the 150 people that inquired, it would cost me 800 quid a time just to go, you don't need what I do. Okay, it's clinical assessment. And B, how many of you are happy waiting 12 months for an FCA because I'm just full of people that haven't been triaged because I'm not happy about it. This is our system. This is the only way in the 21st century to effectively get triage the right people through. People just coming in on the fly, oh, can you check me out? It's not that simple. And I'm not irradiating people who have not been triaged. I'm just not doing it. Oh, I'll tell you something. If you just want to come in, you can go to any of the CT scanning centers. I think there's a company called CT Dent. Go get a full field of view CT scan done. Send it in. Don't send me your photographs. Just send me that CT scan and your medical history. I insist. And then I might consider you not having to send photos. But without a CT scan at base level, you're sending me photos.
I think most of the other comments on here are just lovely comments about thank you for changing my life and things
okay.
of that nature.
It's why I do it. The amount of goodwill I have in my life from all of you is my motivation to do it more. Okay? The very fact that this guy smiles at me now, I like that. We talk like we've known each other for years. We haven't. That's good. It's a great side effect of the whole process. And anyway, I'm a medical professional. I can feel the suffering. I can feel what you all go through. I can feel what you're going through that you refuse to articulate with even your most loved ones. And the thing that gives me the biggest kick of all is when I see you all on the other side. Like you.
Yeah.
You've definitely become more sassy. Yeah. You're far shyer than this before, but I don't know how to put it in better words.
Spring in a step.
Well, you've got a bit of an attitude on you now. You know, there's a bit of an attitude going on, which I like. And I'm asking myself, is this the old Gordon or is this the old Gordon back? You know what I mean? That's the bit I like. And I'm so happy to do it for you all.
Old Gordon back.
One thing that really upsets me is we've had a graftless solution for full jaw since 1997, since the introduction of the first iteration of All-on-4. I want to try and help as many people as I can. I understand. I'm a realist. I live on planet Earth. £16,995 is a lot of money for me, which is why I want people to educate themselves. I want people to set their own value mechanisms. In my head, why would I want you to spend 17 grand on something that I don't think will last you at least 2 decades? And I want you to ask yourself a question. How many things have you got for 17 grand in your life that lasts 2 decades? You understand? I get the size of the investment. I totally understand it. And sometimes I will say no because I can't see the value of the investment for you when I take things into your medical condition, into health. I can't justify it for you. It's not that I don't want to fix you. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. It's not just me, though. It's all my clinicians. We have to help you make that decision. But we all love, when we get you through it and onto the other side, we all love the warmth and the gratitude, and it humbles us. It's our motivation to keep wanting to do this. That's why we've grown to the size that we've grown to. And when I started this, yes, okay, I was in Evo before, but I kept myself to myself. I'm not some famous name in dentistry. You know, I don't care about any of that stuff. My only critics are my patients. So when we started this, yep, is it left field? No, it's just what I believe we should be doing in the 21st century. I don't really care that no one else is doing it. That's not really a thing for me. We started with a group of 8. It was our 3rd birthday last Sunday. I didn't even remember. My wife reminded me. It's our 3rd birthday last Sunday. We have 127 staff, and we are building a network of 12 clinics, of which 8 are already built. I started with 1 in Harrogate. Some of you will remember. Started with 1 in Harrogate. We're now 12. That's good, because all it says to me is not how successful we are. How many people have we already helped? How many more are we going to help? It's the only motivation I need. I just see all your happy pictures. I see all of them. Every single LTP fit, every single post on Trustpilot reviews, you guys standing next to your photos, your before photos on that big screen. My phone is full of them. If ever I need motivation, those are the pictures I look at. And I'm happy to do it for you all. And I want even better things for you in the future. That's what I want. I want to simplify it to the point where you just go, right, well, okay, I can have my new life tomorrow. I want to make it like, I want to make it the same as hip replacements. Hip replacements are not a big deal now. People just go, all right, okay, I need to get my hips done. Right, okay, I need to go get my third set of teeth. Okay, great. That's where I want to try and get it. But I know something. I know all the barriers. I want to take away the smoke and mirrors. I want to improve the access for all of you. I want the clinical standards to always be maintained. And if I can, honestly, this is the God's honest truth, if I can drop the price, if I can find a way where I can keep the profit for growth that's needed to build more clinics and drop the price, trust me, I will. It's what I'm always trying to do. Are we done?
I think there's a bit less tented.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening to us, Gordon. Once again, thank you.
You're
Less
welcome.
of the sass. You know, we don't need this much attitude coming. It's even I have to do a double take. You know, I'm like, God, this guy wouldn't even make eye contact with me like 8 weeks ago. He wouldn't even look me in the face. But now it's how's it going? And
Thank you.
lying to me, Gordon, that's bad. When you say to me, I promise, Vijay, I'll stick to a fork diet, and then you lie to me.
A bit.
Okay, that's all right. I'll let you off. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.